Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer. And this is only the second time, I believe, over the course of, the 5.5 years I've been doing this YouTube channel, that I am going to be reviewing a book. And this is Ubik by Philip K. Dick. And I'm a huge fan of science fiction. I've always loved reading science fiction, and obviously films as well, with my love for dystopia, like the Mad Max series, and hard science fiction like 2001: A Space Odyssey. And Philip K. Dick has such a great legacy of novels like Man in the High Castle and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and Ubik, which is a story about corporate espionage wrapped in reality and what's real, what's not real, who did what, psychics being used to commit all of this espionage, controlling people's minds, and all by running particular ads about this wonderful product that could do everything. And you have Dick's humor in this as well, which you'll get a few laughs, you'll get some chuckles out of reading the actual novel, which it breezes through very easily. It's an easy read. It's a little over 200 pages, and it's something that I found a lot of joy in. And each chapter is started by an ad for this Ubik product, and it's just a fun little, hey, have you been experiencing this before? Balding? Rub some Ubik on it. Something silly like that at the beginning of each of the chapters, which kind of frames this magical product like it could do anything. And it's kind of very prophetic because this book was written in the 60s, takes place in 1992, read by me in 2022, and it kind of sets up this perspective of there's companies out there that's we could do everything. Come to us. You need this? Come to us. Walmart, Amazon, you have these kinds of things, and there's definitely that commentary here. And obviously the crazy things that people do to get people to do stuff. And you have Glenn Runsitter, who is this big corporate guy. He communicates with his wife, who is passed, but is kept alive in this cryonic hibernation chamber where it keeps her consciousness alive. And that's something interesting that this deals with as well, is the idea of consciousness and what's real, what's reality. And all of a sudden there's an assassination. Runsitter is taken out. Where is he? And you have our main character Joe, who's trying to figure out this mystery. Who killed them? Who is this? What's really happening? And trying to peel back the layers on this warped reality. And you have these two characters, and they're very interesting to follow along because these are the two characters that you spend the most time with. And you have these prophetic perceptions of what society is going to be like today, and a lot of it's very poignant. And you have the psychic aspects, these cryonic hibernation chambers, and this kind of people's consciousness living on, and people taking over each other's consciousness and absorbing them, becomes such a big part in the film, and it seemed in the book. And you have this idea where this is kind of planted so well at the beginning and slowly becomes a bigger part of the greater narrative of the story. There's a lot of mystery, and along the way, I was on the edge of my seat sitting there reading this book and really wanting to finish, what's happening here? Who's doing this? And it's a really well-structured, played-out mystery. You have red herrings and stuff like that that keep you on edge, trying to keep that suspense up. And by the end, it's such a great use of so many different sci-fi elements all drawn together to make such a experience that is so worth taking. And I'm so glad that because here's a little perspective, and this might be a little bit too much information just for a book review, but I used to love to read, and I still love to read. It's just that used to be my thing. Before movies, before any of that, that was my thing. I would read so many books. And then personal things happened in my life in college, and books kind of took a backseat, and I would still pretty regularly read, but like movies became my thing. And especially over the past year and a half, I got so caught up in doing all these things with my channel and the 4 websites that I write for and all these different kinds of things that books kind of took a backseat, and I started this book August 2020. Put that in perspective. I had to restart it. My New Year's resolution for 2022 was to start to read more books again, more regularly, and I'm going to try to read at least a book a month. And, you know, we're day 8 of 2022, and I burned right through this one, so I was very happy. I'm trying to read like a chapter a day if I can, as long as that's a rate that'll get me through 1 book a month. And, you know, this one caught my attention, started reading a handful of chapters a day, and then poof, done. Definitely would recommend. It's such a great use of science fiction, and Philip K. Dick was a genius, and I loved reading this, so go check out Ubik. But those are my thoughts on the book. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some books now, because I do that too. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.